Classification of living things, detailed version, introduction. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's comprehensive lesson on the classification of living things, a core concept in biology that helps us understand and organize the incredible diversity of life on Earth. We're surrounded by living things, from the smallest bacteria in the soil to towering trees, and humans ourselves. But how do scientists study, name, and group all these life forms in a systematic way? That's what classification is all about. Section 1. What is classification and why do we need it? Let's start with a question. What is biological classification? Classification in biology, also called taxonomy, is the science of naming, defining, and grouping organisms based on shared characteristics. We classify living things to simplify the study of millions of organisms, identify and name organisms universally, understand relationships and evolutionary history, predict features of organisms based on known group traits. Without classification, biology would be disorganized and chaotic. Imagine trying to study medicine or agriculture without being able to distinguish between a fungus and a bacterium. It would be nearly impossible. Section 2. Historical background. Carl Linnaeus and binomial nomenclature. The idea of grouping organisms has existed for centuries, but modern taxonomy began with Carl Linnaeus, a Swedish botanist who lived in the 1700s. Linnaeus introduced a system called binomial nomenclature, where each organism is given a two-part Latin name. The first part is the genus, always capitalized. The second part is the species, always lowercase. Both names are italicized. For example, Homo sapiens, humans Felis catus, domestic cat Canis lupus, gray wolf. This system is universal and helps scientists across the world avoid confusion caused by local or common names. Linnaeus also proposed a hierarchical system of classification, where organisms are grouped from broad to specific categories. Section 3. Levels of classification. From kingdom to species, the classification hierarchy includes the following main ranks: kingdom, phylum, or division in plants, class, order, family, genus, species. Let's illustrate this using an example: the lion, Panthera leo. Kingdom, Animalia. Phylum, Chordata. Class, Mammalia. Order, Carnivora. Family, Felidae. Genus, Panthera. Species, Leo. As we go down the levels, the classification becomes more specific, with species being the most specific and kingdom the most general. A helpful mnemonic to remember the order is King Philip came over for good soup. Section 4. The 5 kingdoms of life. For many years, scientists used the 5 kingdoms system to group all living organisms. Let's look at each kingdom in detail. 1. Kingdom Monera includes all prokaryotic organisms, mainly bacteria. They do not have a nucleus or membrane-bound organelles. Can be autotrophic, make their own food, or heterotrophic, depend on others. Found everywhere: air, water, soil, and inside living things. Example: Escherichia coli, Streptococcus 2. Kingdom Protista, mostly unicellular, eukaryotic organisms. They have a nucleus. Some act like animals, protozoa, some like plants, algae, and some like fungi. Very diverse. Examples: amoeba, Paramecium, Euglena 3. Kingdom Fungi, multicellular or unicellular, non-photosynthetic organisms. Absorb nutrients from decaying organic matter. Have chitin in their cell walls. Examples: mushrooms, molds, yeasts. 4. Kingdom Plantae, all multicellular, photosynthetic organisms. Have cellulose in their cell walls. Do not move and make their own food via photosynthesis. Examples: trees, grass, ferns, algae. 5. Kingdom Animalia, all multicellular, heterotrophic organisms. No cell walls, and most are mobile. Have a nervous system for response. Examples: insects, birds, humans, fish. Section 5, domains and the modern classification system. Recent advances in molecular biology and genetics led scientists to introduce a broader category above kingdom, the domain. There are 3 domains: bacteria, regular prokaryotes. Archaea, ancient bacteria, found in extreme environments. Eukarya includes all organisms with eukaryotic cells, protists, fungi, plants, animals. This system reflects evolutionary relationships more accurately than the older 5 kingdoms system. Section 6, classification within the animal kingdom. Animals are classified further into vertebrates, animals with backbones; invertebrates, animals without backbones. Vertebrates include fish, breathe with gills, live in water. Amphibians live both in water and on land. Frogs. Reptiles, cold-blooded, dry scaly-skinned snakes, lizards. Birds, feathers, lay eggs, most can fly. Mammals, warm-blooded, have hair or fur, give birth to live young, and produce milk. Invertebrates include insects, 3 body parts, 6 legs. Arachnids, 8 legs, spiders, scorpions. Mollusks, soft-bodied snails, octopuses. Annelids, segmented worms, earthworms. Cnidarians, jellyfish, corals. Invertebrates make up about 95% of all animal species. Section 7, classification in plants. Plants are mainly classified based on presence of vascular tissue, xylem, and phloem. Reproduction methods, spores or seeds. Major groups include non-vascular plants, no true roots or vessels, e.g., mosses. Vascular, seedless plants have vessels but reproduce by spores, e.g., ferns. Gymnosperms, seed-producing plants, no flowers. Seeds are in cones opening parenthesis, e.g. pine. Angiosperms, flowering plants. Seeds are enclosed in fruits, e.g. maize, hibiscus. Angiosperms are the most diverse group of plants. Section 8, cladistics and evolutionary trees. Modern classification now uses cladistics, which groups organisms based on common ancestry. A cladogram is a tree-like diagram that shows evolutionary paths. In this system, organisms with more shared characteristics are placed closer. We use DNA and protein sequences to determine evolutionary relationships. For example, humans and chimpanzees are over 98% genetically similar. This method helps us understand the story of life and how all living things are connected. Section 9, scientific names. Binomial nomenclature in action. Let's recap how scientific names work. Always used to names, genus and species. Always italicize or underline if handwritten. Capitalize the genus, lowercase the species. Some more examples: Z-maize, maize. Musa paradisiaca, plantain Rattus rattus. Black rat on Opheles gambia. Malaria mosquito. Using these names avoids confusion. For instance, jungle cat could mean many different animals in English, but Felis chaus is specific. Section 10, importance and application of classification. Why should we care about classification? In medicine, helps doctors identify pathogens and prescribe accurate treatment. In agriculture, helps farmers breed better crops and manage pests. In environmental conservation, identifying endangered species helps in planning conservation efforts. In scientific research, allows scientists worldwide to work using a shared language and understanding. Without classification, scientific communication and discovery would be much harder. Conclusion: to summarize, classification helps us organize the vast diversity of life. Carl Linnaeus introduced the system of binomial nomenclature. The 7 levels of classification help move from broad to specific. Life is divided into 5 kingdoms and 3 domains. Animals and plants are classified into groups based on structure and function. Modern biology uses DNA to create more accurate classifications through cladistics. Classification is critical in medicine, farming, conservation, and education. Thank you for joining me on this detailed journey into the world of biological classification. Remember, the more we understand life, the better we can protect and benefit from it.